Okay, welcome back. This is day 2 of owning this new property. Janice and I bought 155 acres of mostly forest land, but at the front of the property was a lot of this sort of stuff. Kind of sparsely, kind of spindly little trees, and mostly these very prickly, thickety things that you really don't want to walk through because they have thorns. Very unfun. Even with jeans on, you feel them scratching against your legs. So I spent all of yesterday flail mowing various areas that I'm going to use for the future when I'm doing some firewood making. And we placed our trailer here because at the time this seemed like the back of the clearing. And this is the flail mower in case you're wondering what it looks like. This is the Morino Flail mower. I think it's wider than my tractor anyway. It's 7 feet wide or something like that. And I am absolutely loving it. I've been using it non-stop to the point I ran out of gas in my tractor and I had to fill it up again. This TYM 574 has just been awesome. I've used the pallet forks quite a bit because when they dropped off my other attachments, they dropped them right at the road. I didn't want to leave them there unattended. You never know. Somebody with a tractor and pallet forks could easily just come by and scoop them up. So yeah, so I moved those back. That was a learning lesson, how to get the things that weren't even strapped down anymore. Like they took the straps off all the stuff, so they were just loose on top of the pallet. So it's that balancing act of lifting them and angling them just a little bit towards your tractor so they don't fall forward, but not so much that it falls onto your tractor. So there you go. So I've been having a really good time flail mowing, but here's the thing I'm going to show you now. I'm going to get the drone up. I'm going to show you when I flail mow that area, because after we'd already placed our trailer here, we realized there's a little path. I think hunters have used it. At first I thought maybe this was a deer path, but if you look, you can see little trees that have been cut like a human has cut them. So clearly somebody cut this to make a path through. I'm guessing hunters before we owned it. So I'm going to create a flail mowed path through this, and then out in here, I'll just bring you through just to give you a general idea, is an open area. And in this open area, if we put our trailer at the back of that open area, then we would definitely not be seen from the road, which is what Janice wants. She wants some privacy. Give me some privacy. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flail mow this area. I'm not going to knock down any bigger trees, but anything that's this small little thickety stuff is going to be a goner. Hopefully you can hear me. The wind's picking up. And in case you're wondering, I am leaving my pallet forks on and angled down like this because it kind of knocks down any thicker, a little bit thicker pieces. I can then knock them down over and then drive over it with the tractor, and the flail mower grinds it up at the back. And as you can see from this field, when it's done grinding it, you don't even know there were thickets here. It turns it into like mulch. Really, really fine mulch. You'd almost think it was a grass field that I kind of cut a little too close. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, so let's get going. I'll just show you. The drone's up there. It's going to watch us. Hopefully it follows me. I don't know how these guys drone and drive a tractor and do this, especially when you're new like me. You don't want to mess something up. So the first thing you got to do is bring your RPMs up to 2,500 RPM. Or sorry, 2,500 is 540 RPM of the PTO. Oh, it sounds like it's screaming. And then you engage the PTO. And I'll hit record on the drone. All right, now let's do this. So I'm going to drive right through this. I know it looks like I shouldn't do this, but this is what you do. Drive over top of the little thickets. The PTO will just grind it up behind you. Now I'll probably go through this more than once. It's not going to be a very wide path. But I can see the drone is definitely picking it up, so that's good. Now the only thing you got to worry about, you really can't tell if this is going to happen, is sometimes you'll get the odd rock that's underneath the grass, and you'll hear the flail mower hammers hit it, and it makes a grinding sound. It's only happened to me twice. It hasn't done any damage. I've checked the hammers. There's nothing broken. I'm sure there's a few tiny chips out of the blade, but those hammers are built really, really strong. So, slow it down there. Grind it over something. Let's see what it's grinding. job. Probably could go a second pass over some of this to get rid of the little twigs that are sticking up out of the ground, or I could have lowered my flail mower a little lower to the ground, but then I feel like then you really get into some spots where you're just digging in the mud. So you got to kind of pick your poison. Do you want it a little too high where there's some twigs sticking out and you have to do a second pass, or do you want it to be real low and have, you know, have mud in some spots? Now this tree here, kind of, sorry buddy, it's gonna end of your life. Gotta go. Half of it was dead anyway, but you're gonna hear the PTO slow down probably. See that? Ah, there you go. Slows down a bit when it gets a little bit too much wood through it at once. Now you can see this tree in the middle. One's alive, but the other one's dead. So what I might have to do is go back with a chainsaw, cut the dead one down, and then run over the remainder of the wood that's at the bottom. The chainsaw as low to the ground as I can, but just so you don't have a tripping hazard, it's nice to go over the spot again with the flail mower. And here we are, pass number 3 of this little area, and that's doing a pretty good job. Again, once I get the camera off, I'll probably go back and clean up a few areas, because I'm holding a camera, I'm looking at a drone screen, and just driving a tractor at the same time. So it's chewing bubble gum and tapping your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. So there you go. Turned off the engine. Actually, I opened this so I don't get so hot. But turned off the engine so you can hear me a little better. I don't know how well the audio came out on that, but you can see it just mows through almost anything, even small trees. Sometimes I'm like, I could get out with the chainsaw and cut it down, but when you look at it, it's only like 2.5 inches wide. You're like, I'm pretty sure the flail mower can do it. So you just sort of knock it over with your well, in my case, the pallet forks, but I could have done it with the grapple rake over there. But knock it over so that it's flat, and then just drive over it, and the grinder in the back will get it. So yeah, there you go. I'm really impressed with the flail mower. So yeah. Now, I got to say, at some point, I'm going to have to get underneath. I lift it, when I put it on the back of the tractor, I lift as high as I can. I can get down on my back and look underneath. But I mean, I think I'm going to have to take it completely off and flip it upside down in order to take all the hammers off. And I'll probably have to get my grinder and grind the edges sharp again, because I'm sure with all the stuff I've run over that those blades are all like, they're no longer smooth. They're probably like jagged. So yeah, unlike a lawnmower has got a spinning blade, this is a rotating drum with these big curled hammers, a really thick iron or something with kind of a sharp edge. I wouldn't say it's sharp, like you're not going to cut your finger by touching it, but sharp enough to chop up wood. So, but of course you hit rocks or anything else, you're going to put some marks in those edges. So, you know, at some point I'll have to take them all off and grind them down, make them smooth again so they cut a little bit cleaner. I do have 6 extra hammer blades too, because one thing I have learned from watching other people who have this is at some point or another, you're just going to realize one of them's missing. You probably hit a rock or something and it just broke there's like a little bolt that holds it and pivots it, and I guess shears off at some point. And then one day it just probably vibrates more than normal, and you're like, well, it's vibrating more than normal. And then you stop it, look underneath, and I'm missing a hammer blade. So then you got to put another one on, which is not a big deal, but it's just something to keep in mind. They are really, really tough, but they're not indestructible, right? So you can't just run over things. If you know there's rocks in your field, you should probably not do this. I've only had one that was hidden. It was one of these things where it was a big green shrub, and I'm guessing the rock was in the middle of the shrub. So from my vantage point, driving over the shrub, it was just a shrub. It was one of those, low foot off the ground green things. And I just drove over it because it was only a foot off the ground. And then all of a sudden, by the time that happens, it's too late. You can't back up. So you just keep going over top of it. And I look back, I'm like, oh, that was a rock. So yeah, it only happened once that I know of. And another time I wasn't sure. The RPMs of the drum slowed down significantly. And I looked back, and I was like, I didn't see any big trees there. So I don't know if it was just, sometimes when you're going through a bit of an undulation in the earth, your tractor goes up, which actually pushes your flail mower down deeper into the ground. And sometimes that could just be the hammer blades hitting the soil and that, you know, that would definitely slow their spin. So it could be that too. But and again, hitting soil is probably not good for the blades either, because it's like just like if you're using a chainsaw, if you use a chainsaw and you accidentally hit the ground with it, you'll dull your blade like that. So it probably does the same thing to these. So I'm looking forward to, after I get done the flail mowing and I can release this from its from the back of the tractor, then I'll probably take the time, flip it over, and sharpen the blades. So anyways, very happy. Okay, I'm going to leave you with a few drone shots here. You can see the newly cleared area in the foreground. You'll notice about the property, the front part is kind of reclaimed farmland. So you got these kind of like short scrubby brush. It's a lot of prickly ash, more prickly ash than I would like. And then you sort of get into more heritage forest the further you go back. So we're looking forward to building trails into the heritage forest from the more scrub brushy farm field, ex-farm field area. So there you go. So for those of you that stick around to the end, I like to give you a little bit of foreshadowing, because when I'm editing this, it's you know, near the end of June, and the time that I was saying I love this flail mower, it was April 16th. And I did love this flail mower, but for those that stick around, I'm just going to give you foreshadowing. The flail mower broke after about 20-ish hours of use, and not in the way that I was saying in this video where the hammer blades would get dented or break off or whatever. That's what I expected would happen if you use it and it hits a rock or something, that one of those hammer blades, the little bolt would snap, or, you know, that was what you would expect from a snowblower, that it would be some shear pin that would break. No, the entire drum housing broke off at some point and the whole drum fell out. So yeah, went back to MP Farm, asked if it was a warranty issue. They said no, and that I would have to pay. They said that they could get some parts from Del Morino, the manufacturer, but they weren't going to cover it. So I got it fixed, and I still haven't gotten a bill for that. So I don't know what the story is. I will fill you in when I know more. But the last I heard, it was not a warranty claim, although when I went to pick it up, they said they'd get back to me on what the bill was going to end up being. So I don't know what's going on there. Thought I'd give you that little foreshadow now that it's end of June. I've got my flail mower back. I'm being extra careful to make sure I don't hit any rocks or anything like that. Again, I still don't think that that's the reason that the whole drum should fall out, but I'll keep you posted on that, and that's where we stand right now. Flail mower back, unknown the resolution as to whether it's a warranty or whether I'm going to pay for it. So there we go. Stay tuned for that. And oh, by the way, a little foreshadowing too. Tomorrow I get an excavator that I bought. I'm having so much fun doing this land. The problem is I don't have time to do the editing, so I'm falling further and further behind the real time. And now this footage you're seeing is like nothing has leaves on it. Looks like a barren wasteland compared to what it looks like now, which is lush and green. So I'm looking forward to showing you that. Hopefully you found this episode informative. If so, show the channel some love by giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already for more on us building this off-grid homestead. Lots to come. Stay tuned. Ciao for now.